Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness. Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal and every decision, every day to make a powerful impact on others. Today's guest is going to light you up. You'll be motivated, you'll be challenged, and most importantly, you're going to walk away with tools that inspire action both in your life and the lives of others. Audience, here's your homework. How will you serve yourself and others today? Doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So lean in, take notes. Shout out to my two sponsors, A Mind for All Seasons. Your brain is your greatest competitive edge, and it deserves to perform like one. Want to think faster, remember more, and stay focused longer? Just text the word optimize to 72000. Optimize to 72000 and get instant access to 6 short, powerful videos, each just 3 to 5 minutes, that reveals simple strategies to unlock peak mental performance. Because when your brain is clear, your business grows. And Epic Impact, the storytelling system that helps your message connect and convert, it's just 4 steps. Engage, persuade, inspire, close with clarity. I use it every day for all my messages. Try it free at epicimpact.ai with code STEVE. Change your messages, change your results. Excited to announce Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast was named top 6 in small business marketing. Thank you all of you, my guest and my audience. You've impacted so many people. Let's continue doing that. Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I am so excited about my guest today. Have you been through a tragedy or a trauma? Did you come on the other end of it? Or did you not? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk specifically one event that just happened that she was in the middle of and how she's recovered. And I just told her before the show, when I first met her, she inspired me. I'm a little bit in tears because we can help each other. And that's what she's all about. Let's bring her on. Beate, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Steve, for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to talk to you again.
Yes, this is, I was on your podcast. She's got a wonderful podcast. We'll get it out there at the end here. Talk about it's the Palisades Fire. Talk about that, how it impacted you and what happened.
Yeah, so on January 3rd, my husband and I, got married. We've been together for 11 years, so it's not exactly a fast-moving, spur of the moment decision. So after all this time together, we went on a spiritual journey into the jungle in Costa Rica, and I said, let's have a ceremony, let's get married, with in white flowy clothes and flip-flops in the jungle, and it's all beautiful in the Maloka, and everybody's singing and dancing and drumming and breathing and yoga and meditation. And we did that, and then the theme that kind of came up for me in this spiritual journey was letting go. And for anybody who is connected to a spiritual or a divine or a conscious energy, you sometimes hear the voice, and the voice comes through, and the voice says to me, well, you need to let go. And I'm going like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it, letting go. And it just went on for hours and hours and hours. I was like, no, you don't understand. You're being asked to let everything go. You have to let go of the story. You have to let go of what you've been doing. You have to let go of the way you have been doing things. And I'm like, this sounds like a little intense here. And then 4 days later, we are now on our honeymoon. Took this cute little private plane over, the picturesque coast of Costa Rica, going to Nazaro. And then we're getting on the phone, we're getting the red flag alerts from Los Angeles, unprecedented storm, 90-mile-per-hour winds, and we're going like, it's January. We don't have these in January. And then the note came in, there's a fire in the Pacific Palisades. And that fire was about, at that time, probably about 3 miles away from us, which is a fairly good distance. And over the course of just hours, this fire just moved so quickly and jumped Sunset Boulevard, which is the fire line typically where the fire does not jump, and destroyed first my office and podcast studio, which was across from the supermarket, the Gelson that everybody saw on television, burn first. And then it went all the way down to Pacific Coast Highway, flanked to the left and the right, and went all the way over and took everything in between out. And our community lost about 7,500 structures over a over an area of about 10 square miles. And we are in Costa Rica, and the only source of information we have is X. And you know how vile X is and how horrible people on X, formerly Twitter, are. Let the effing liberals burn. They had it coming, death to rich people. I mean, really just horrible, horrible things. A friend of ours who said, can I hire a private fire department? And then he was canceled in real time while the poor guy is trying to preserve his family home. And we had literally, we had, we just saw these small clips and we did not know if our house was standing or not standing. And then when we got back, we got off the plane, and for the first time in our lives, what are we telling the Uber driver where to go? We don't have cars. We don't have a place to go to. Where do we go? And a friend of ours had a place in Venice that he gave us because he was in Paris for a month. So we stayed there for about 10 days, and then from there on, people came together and helped us to get on our feet. And there were many, many, many teachings in that. But yeah, it was the greatest catastrophic loss that either one of us has ever experienced, when you lose everything you have within hours. I don't have Mother's Day cards. I don't have, my mother just gave me all the family jewelry a year before, grandmother's pearls, my father's Rolex that he gave me 30 years ago. Um, all the little things, my father's condolence books, the letters he wrote me, every report card, every memory of my childhood, every photo, it's all gone. Every piece of clothing. I mean, we literally, because we were in the jungle, I didn't have a purse, I didn't have a wallet, I didn't bring any jewelry. I just went with nothing.
Wow. Well, letting go is a big lesson of this, because it seems like a simple phrase. I'm just letting go. I'll let that go. This is bigger than that. What was your first step, you and your husband, to recover?
Our first step to recover really was to even try to function, because when you had your heart broken for the first time, right? You thought you'd die because it was so painful. And then the second and third time you go, yeah, I kind of get it. I'm going to eat a lot of ice cream. I have, maybe have a couple beers. I'm hanging out with my bros. I'm telling myself a sob story, throwing myself a great pity party, and eventually I'm going to get over it and I'm going to go back out because I'm convinced that whoever my person is out there. When you are in a catastrophic event like this, there is nothing in your brain that can compare to that. And we were not even allowed to go in yet. So we couldn't see, we didn't know if we had a house or didn't. We think we didn't. And then a friend of ours was able to go in and said, there's nothing. And then they locked down the Palisades and nobody was allowed to go in because it was so toxic and so dangerous to go, and the buildings were on fire for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we couldn't fathom the that actually happened to us. And we were, for the first time in our lives, really helpless. So but our kids in our community stepped up. And this is really the biggest lesson that I think that I learned and I know you talk about this all the time, is community. So, like you, my entire life, I've been mentoring, I've been giving things to people, I share the information. I really want to help as many people to be successful in business as I possibly can, specifically women, or creative people, people that are a little bit off, the beaten path, that are not so straightforward, because I know what it's like to be different. And for the first time in my life, I had nothing to give. And when people said, "Can we help you? Can we do anything for you?" My husband's first reaction was to do what we normally would say. I was like, "No, I'm fine." And I said, "We're not fine. We're not fine. We have nothing. We don't have a toothbrush. We don't have toothpaste. We don't have shower gel. We don't have shampoo. We don't have soap. We don't have shoes. We don't even have a jacket. We were in the jungle. We brought nothing. We don't have we don't have a computer. We don't have a desk. We don't have a lamp. I don't have a fork. I don't have a plate. I have nothing. I don't have a place to live." And then our community just stepped up, and we had our kids set up a GoFundMe page. We had people that we didn't even know donate. We raised over, like, I think $42,000. And
Jeez.
and people, were begging us to put up Amazon lists of things that we actually needed. And then we got trash cans and plates and forks and knives and things sent, shavers, electric toothbrushes. I mean, it was crazy on how many people were compelled to give to us. And so the big lesson of a catastrophic loss like this for me was, and I know you are the same way. You believe, and I believe, that we give without an expectation of return. However, that is only part of a circle. It's not a circle, it's an infinity sign. Because as you give, you do want to ask, and there has to be an expectation of a return to that ask, and then you give, and then you receive, and then you ask, and you get. And I think that we forget sometimes that this infinity sign, this constant motion of giving and receiving, that's really the flow state we want to be in. That's when we are in alignment. And then amazing things happened. I I had, just to give you one example on what this flow state really looks like. So I had this beautiful ring that I had purchased, and I'm not wearing it right now, otherwise I would show it to the audience. But when I sold my business to Bill Gates many, many years ago, I bought myself, for the first time I had money, I was able to go into the store. I went into Bloomingdale's. I didn't look at the price tag. Just looked at something I liked, and I bought myself this beautiful ring. The ring burned. It's 20 years later. I wait for my daughter to come from Las Vegas and said, I need the courage, and I need you with me to go to the store and ask them if they have any records of this ring, because that was very meaningful to me. No, they don't. We're sorry. It's been 20 years ago. There's no record of this. And then the woman says, why don't you describe the ring to me? So I described it, that, it has these, it's about this big. It has these rings. Two of the rings are diamonds. And she looks at me. She walks over to her computer. She types in, she flips the screen around. She shows me my ring and says, "That one?" And I said, "That's the ring." She says, "The only reason I know this ring is because I bought it for my sister. And I have one left. Are you a size 7?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "Perfect. It's yours."
Wow. That's amazing story. That is like a 1 in 100 million.
The improbabilities for this to happen are so high that this woman, at this time, when I walked in and she had bought that ring, she knew that ring so well that I could describe it 20 years later. And they said, like, and it was on sale for 50% off. So I bought it for the exact amount that I bought it 20 years ago.
And this is what I mentor, and I know you do as well, about people. We, most of the time when we serve, we don't see that reciprocity from them. This is a perfect universe, or us, God, going, hey, you've been through a lot. You've taken care of so many people. He throws his story in your lap. This is powerful. So tell me, and tell us, the audience as well, when was that first shift that you're going, me and my husband are going to be okay? Thumbs up.
Uh, it's a work in progress. I don't
Still
want to
is.
lie.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
want to lie. The grief is so overwhelming because when, as I'm living now in Santa Monica and we have now replaced the things that we need to function, but you still have these moments where you go, well, that's where I would wear my so and so, and you don't have it. Or the answer to everything is, I used to have that, but it burned. I still can go in a jewelry store and try to replace anything because every time I go in a jewelry store, all I think about is like all the beautiful things that I had that, were family heirlooms. And then I'm seeing a necklace and I'm going like, I can't even buy it. And I turn around and I walk out. And you don't even want to buy anything because you go like, well, what's the point of having all this stuff when it can be all gone in a nanosecond? The process of recovering from a catastrophic event only can happen if you are deeply rooted in your belief system. My husband and I were both, considering ourselves very spiritual. His main emotional processing is anger. So he's angry. He's been angry for 11 months to the point where it's intolerable at some point.
Yeah.
My process is more, when I'm in a lot of pain, I kind of get very calm because my pain process internally. So I've been very good about my spiritual practice. And I believe in the law of polarity. So to answer your question, the answer is it's the law of polarity. If I did not believe in the law of polarity, and I'll explain that in a second, I don't think I would be in half as good shape as I am because the law of polarity says if it exists on one side, it must exist on the other. So if there's utter destruction on one side, the opposite of this must exist. So now I can shift my mindset into looking for that. And that's what my attitude has been. It's acknowledging what happened, but also knowing that the other side of this must exist and me searching for that constantly and saying, it must be here. It must be here. It must already be here because this cannot happen unless it's already here. And
Yeah.
the law of polarity is the law of opposites. So if night exists, day must exist. If cold, heat must exist. If you have a desire, the fulfillment of that desire exists. That's the best way I can explain it, Steve.
Faith and hope sounds like a part of this too.
Huge. It cannot have all been for nothing. I do not believe that there is God or spirit or the divine or an energy that goes, the joke is on you. The last time this happened to me was when I lost everything and then my dad died. I was $135,000 in debt. I, didn't have a putt to, what, in. And I was about to declare bankruptcy, and I had written a letter to the President of the United States out of full desperation. I get a letter from the White House, puts me in touch with the Small Business Administration. Now they're helping me to get a loan to restructure the debt, freed up my line of credit, and restructured the debt. 3 months later, I'm break even. 18 months later, I was the world leader in my category, and I sold my business to Bill Gates for millions of dollars. So that was the last time I was in this position. So I do know that these quantum leaps or these transformations oftentimes are designed to push us out of a pattern into a new pattern because of the weight and the power and the pain that is sitting on us. Clearly, what I was doing wasn't working. And admitting that is hard. And then having it all burn is even harder. And then I'm sorry, you want me to do what? You want me to start it all over again? You want me to have a cheerful attitude and look for the positive in all of this and rebuild it and then and what? So it's been a tall order and life continues. My brother-in-law just had a colon cancer surgery today. My niece had a baby in an emergency C-section at 33 weeks. The baby's still in the NICU, had multiple surgeries, is not out of the woods yet. And life still continues while you're still trying to process this, while you're rebuilding. And you go, I mean, you must think I'm freaking fabulous, dear God, because what the heck?
Yeah. So some of the lessons here, because I was going to ask you, besides community, is dealing with people with trauma, and that's life, which you put in just a higher level of life. How are you getting past all this? to get up and jump on my podcast, and thank you for sharing and being transparent and jumping on here and talking about it. Because I know people that will just hide in a corner for 20 months, 10 months. COVID taught us that. What's getting you out there? Keep doing what you're doing.
To me, it is a question I've been actually trying to answer myself. And I'm like, what is it? I had many moments in my life. If I would have folded, people would have said, you know what? You've done your best. You've given it everything. I totally get it. But there's a part of me where I have this really intense inner drive where I feel that I've been sent through this to help other people with the shortcuts, to manage these unthinkable things. And I've been through fires, floods, riots, earthquake. Now I lost everything. I lost my business in September 11th. I lost my other part of my business in a lawsuit. I mean, the story, like when I tell it, and it's not half, and then I lost my keyvent in a tsunami in Asia back in the days. This does not happen to normal people, but these things keep, I think it's like what, the ninth time these things keep happening to me, and I keep getting up and I keep getting up, and people go like, well, how come you're still going? Shouldn't you be like rolled up in a ball in the corner? I'm like, I kind of can't do that. I still think that I look at this from the richness of my experience on this planet. And I'm going, if I were to bite the bullet tomorrow, I have a fabulous life.
Wow.
I know great people, the relationships I've built, the human capital I created around me. I mean, everything I've ever given in my life came back to me in a month after the fire. I mean, can I not be anything but deeply grateful? I have a beautiful grandchild that I get to participate in her life. We just had another grandson. We are part of these kids' lives. They speak to us. I have great friends. I can pick up a phone. I can talk to anybody. I feel that it is my job to get this message out that life is life, but that there are ways for you. And I don't really like to call it resilience because I really do not need to be any more resilient. Just so we get this memo out today and record it. I do not need to be any more resilient. But clearly, there must be something in here that I need to teach, or that is forcing me to do something. So I am clearly not done yet. So I look at it from the other perspective, Steve. Instead of saying like, well, that's it, I'm done. I'm saying like, why that happen? Uh, what do they want me to do with this now?
Polarity. That's what you're doing. You go, I could stay in bed all day, cry and play a pity party and never do anything, or go out. And you even served me before the show. You're out there serving. You're still bringing value to people, even though you've been through all this. That's the lesson I want to end with, because if you're serving with all you're going, there's no reason why I can't serve. I haven't been through that. And I thank you for that, because I talk to people about this all the time. Anybody can do this. We all have a soul to serve. It's willing to take action. And you are, with everything that you've been through. And that's why we're blessed to have you on. And you're a freaking rock star. I'm just going to say that. And, I've only met her a couple times, audience, but you could feel it. On this show, you could feel the power of her taking her lessons and teaching it to the audience. And we're going to bring her back and talk more and get an update, because we got to hear more from you and see what's happening and good things. Let's end with a fun question to get to know you. Yet, I've got a reservation at a restaurant, table of 4. One of you and your husband would be in 2 chairs, but the 3 empty chairs, who would you invite, whether they're dead or alive, to sit down and share a meal with, but to get to know, mentor, ask questions, somebody you always wanted to talk to? But more importantly, what food would you order?
I probably would, on my first round on this dinner round, I probably would get Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I would get Maya Angelou, and
Wow.
for the reason that both of them have been able to manage that they are they were relevant until the day they died. And that is really something that I want to understand on how you do that, which is why I model my business model after them. I'll probably go for a caprese to start with. If they have a little bit prosciutto, I'll indulge. And then depending on the type of restaurant, I might go for a petite filet or a nice halibut.
I should never do this before lunch. Now I'm getting hungry, but
Yeah, I
that's
know.
good because I
Suddenly
had
I'm
to have
like,
lunch.
is it lunch?
Yeah, yeah. We're both in Pacific Coast, and we're like, hey, it's 11:30. It's almost lunchtime. Again, thank you so much. I heard your story before, and in fact, you've empowered me even more to do more. I have no excuses. An audience, I'm going to be very bold. You have no excuses to serve and treat people right and uplift them after everything you just heard. I know people might want to reach out. Maybe they've been through a trauma or some catastrophic event to talk to you about how can they find you.
Yes, so you can go to my website at growtharchitect.biz. You can also listen to my show, the Business Growth Architect Show, Founders of the Future. Or, if you're a friend of Steve, you can just go ahead and email me, and it's my initials, bc@beatechelette.com, or fill out an uncovery session. That's probably the best way, uncoverysession.com. Just schedule your 15-minute get-to-know call. And if there's something going on with business or you heard something that inspires you, by all means, just mention Steve's name and I'll be happy to connect with you in person.
A true servant's heart. At the beginning, she's serving, and you just finished with serving. Thank you again. This is, I'm rarely speechless. I am, but from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate you. And audience, subscribe to her podcast or my podcast or other podcasts. And here's why, especially this show. If you know somebody that's had their house burned down or lost their house, or some type of an event like that, share the podcast with them a Beate, and they can learn what she's doing, and maybe they reach out. That's the biggest impact we can make. I truly think what me and Beate are doing with our podcast and making an impact. But it takes you, the audience, to subscribe, get those links, and share them out. I call it Christmas every morning because I get to share those gifts. So me and Beate want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone. Keep smiling.